we've got to talk about the summer that's heading for India. Seriously, all the warning signs are flashing for a record-breaking, dangerously hot season. And it's all being powered by this massive climate event called a super El Nino. Now, this isn't just about a few hot days, not at all. This is a real look into our planet's new reality. Yeah, when you see a quote like that, it definitely sets off some alarm bells, doesn't it? It just cuts right to the chase and captures how urgent this whole thing is. So what does this actually mean for the country? And why are scientists so worried? Okay, let's break it all down. So, here's the first thing you need to get. This incredible heat isn't just showing up out of the blue. Nope. It's really the peak of a relentless and, frankly, pretty alarming trend of record-smashing temperatures that have been hitting India for years now. What's just so striking when you look at this is how relentless it is. This isn't just one bad month. I mean, look at this. April 2024, the East and Northeast are just baking with record temps. Then boom, July, the entire country feels it. And by October, even the nighttime temperatures, when it's supposed to cool down, even those are the highest ever recorded. This is way more than a heat wave. It feels like a sustained assault on the climate. Okay, so what in the world is driving all this? Well, scientists are pointing to this powerful combo of two major factors. Think of it like a double threat that's creating a perfect storm for extreme heat. Let's get into what they are. So, the first driver here is a supercharged version of a natural pattern you've probably heard of called El Niño. When we say super El Niño, it means the surface of the Pacific Ocean gets exceptionally warm. We're talking over 2 degrees Celsius above average. All that massive heat energy in the ocean just completely messes with weather patterns all over the globe. And for India, it basically acts like a giant heat lamp, weakening the monsoon and leading to way hotter, drier conditions. And to really get a handle on its impact, it helps to know its opposite, La Niña. You can kind of think of them as two ends of a seesaw. El Niño is the warm phase, the one that weakens India's monsoon and cranks up the heat. La Niña is the cool phase that should bring some relief. But here's the problem. Recent La Niña events have been pretty weak. So we're getting this powerful push towards extreme heat from El Niño, but we're not getting that cooling effect from La Niña to balance things out. And this is where that second threat comes into play, and it's a big one. El Niño and La Niña, they're natural cycles, right? But the thing is, they're now happening on a planet that's already fundamentally warmer because of climate change. Think of it like this. Climate change has raised the entire floor. So now when a natural heat cycle like El Niño comes along, it's not just a little warmer. It's pushing temperatures to totally unprecedented, much more dangerous heights. And listen, this isn't just some far-off possibility we're talking about. The climate models from top agencies like NOAA in the US are forecasting an 80% chance of this El Niño kicking in, and soon. In the world of climate science, an 80% probability is incredibly high. It's really not a question of if anymore. It's a question of when and how bad. All right, so with this massive threat looming on the horizon, the next logical question is, where in India is the heat going to hit the hardest? Let's take a look at the danger zones. India's official weather agency, the IMD, has put out some very specific warnings. Now, while the entire country is expected to be hotter than normal, the biggest risk is really concentrated in 3 key regions: the Himalayan states up north, the Northeast, and the Western Ghats along the coast. These areas are looking particularly vulnerable. And this, right here, highlights a kind of hidden danger. It's not just about the number on the thermometer, it's about who it's affecting. For example, communities in these mountainous regions, they're just not used to this kind of extreme heat. Their homes, their entire way of life, even their bodies aren't adapted for it, and that makes them uniquely vulnerable. Which brings us to the real-world consequences. Because, this isn't just some abstract number. This level of heat has major ripple effects that are going to touch every single part of society in India, all the way from the farms to our families. Let's start with something essential: food. Over half of India's farmland, a whopping 52%, relies on irrigation. So when you get a weak monsoon and the heat starts drying up all the water sources, that entire system is put under incredible threat. And this isn't just a problem for farmers. It puts the food security of millions and millions of people at risk. And the impacts just ripple outwards from there. First, you have the immediate health risks, like heat stroke, especially for the millions who have to work outside. Then the resource shortages kick in, less water coming out of the taps, and a power grid that's just straining to keep up with everyone blasting their AC. All of this leads to economic pain, from failed crops to higher food prices for everybody. And of course, in these bone-dry conditions, the risk of devastating forest fires just skyrockets.
So after hearing all of this, what's the big takeaway? What is the final, most urgent message we need to grasp?
Here's the crucial point. The coming Super El Niño is so much more than just another weather pattern. It's what happens when a natural cycle slams into a human-made climate crisis. It's a preview of a future where these extreme events become the new normal. It is, without a doubt, a profound warning shot. And that leads us to the final and most critical question. We see the data, we understand the science, we can even predict the impacts. The climate crisis isn't some distant threat anymore. It's here and it's now. The question really isn't whether we'll face more summers like this one. The real question is, now that we know they're coming,